In Matthew 22, Jesus said that the first and greatest command is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. Then in Luke 10, an expert in the law asked Jesus, well, who is my neighbor that I'm supposed to love as myself? Well, Jesus tells a story in Luke 10, 25 to 37 to help answer that question. But I also have with us today the Fun Factory that we can have some fun with while we work at answering that question of who is my neighbor. So the Fun Factory has three pieces. First of all, we have the red tube. And then over the red tube, we have the yellow tube with a nice question mark on the front, reminding us that the question of the day is who is my neighbor that I'm supposed to love as myself? And then we have this clear thing right here, and it goes in to catch whatever the Fun Factory makes, okay? So, we've got the red, we've got the yellow, and we have the clear catcher. All right? So, Lydia, will you go ahead, read to us Luke 10, 25 through 37, and as she reads it, see if you can figure out who is my neighbor that I'm supposed to love as I love myself.
The story of the Good Samaritan. One day, an authority on the law stood up to put Jesus to the test. Teacher, he asked, what must I do to receive eternal life? What is written in the law? Jesus replied. How do you understand it? He answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Love him with all your strength and with all your mind. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. You have answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do that and you will live. But the man wanted to make himself look good. So he asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor? Jesus replied, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. Robbers attacked him. They stripped off his clothes and beat him. Then they went away, leaving him almost dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road. When he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. A Levite also came by. When he saw the man, he passed by on the other side too. But a Samaritan came to the place where the man was. When he saw the man, he felt sorry for him. He went to him, poured olive oil and wine on his wounds and bandaged them. Then he put the man on his own donkey. He took him to an inn and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 silver coins. He gave them to the owner of the inn. Take care of him, he said. When I return, I will pay you back for any extra expense you may have. Which of the 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by robbers? The authority of the law replied, the one who felt sorry for him. Jesus told him, go and do as he did.
All right, thank you, Lydia. I have 4 balls here to help us out as we retell the story that Lydia just read. I'm going to go ahead and slide the Fun Factory back a little bit here. Now, first of all, there was a man. He was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. He was going along fine until all of a sudden some robbers jumped out. They beat up the man and they took his money, leaving him really badly hurt. Well, a little bit later, a priest comes along, and the priest is going along that same road. And he sees the man lying there in the road, hurt really bad, bleeding. And he decides, uh-oh, I better go on the other side and go around him. So sure enough, the priest goes around. Well, a little bit later, a Levite comes along. He also is going down that same road, and he sees the man lying there in the road, bleeding and hurt, and he also decides, uh-oh, I better go on the other side and go around him. And he does. And then a Samaritan comes along, and the Samaritan sees the man laying there, injured and bleeding, and he decides, oh no, I better go help him. And he goes and he bandages up the man, puts him on his donkey, and he takes the injured man to an inn. When he gets to the inn, he says to the innkeeper, please, Will you give this man a room and will you help take care of him? Here's some money. And if it's not enough to cover the expenses, I'll pay you more later. Jesus finished the story and he said to the expert in the law, who was a neighbor to the man? And the man said, the expert in the law said, it was the one who felt sorry for him, the one who had mercy on him and helped him. He is the one who was a neighbor. And Jesus said, that's right. Go and do likewise. So Jesus answered the question of who is the neighbor that I'm supposed to love as myself by saying in the story that everyone is your neighbor who you're supposed to love as yourself. So, you know what? We need a lot of love so that we can love everybody. So Lydia, will you go over there and why don't you grab the yellow ball, and we're going to have that yellow ball remind us of love. And we're going to put the yellow ball in the fun factory, and you can go grab the bell. All right. And I'm going to count to 3, and when I get to 3, you can ring the bell, and we'll say, love everyone as you love yourself. All right? And hopefully a whole lot of love represented by yellow balls will grow in the fun factory and be caught in the catcher. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Love everybody as yourself. All right. Let's see how we did. Remembering that our question was, who is it that we're supposed to love as ourselves? And in the story Jesus told, we see that everyone is who we're supposed to love as ourselves. And sure enough, we have a whole lot of yellow balls in the catcher. And those yellow balls represent love, a whole lot of love, because we need to remember to treat everybody with love.